Here is a fact of life. Nobody, and I mean nobody, likes feeling stupid. But that said, stupid questions are often really important. Learn about some big reasons why it's useful, important even, to ask seemingly stupid questions in this episode of the Growth Philosophy Podcast. Stay tuned to learn more. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Growth Philosophy Podcast, a bite-sized weekly podcast focused on empowering you to think better and upgrade your life. So let's talk about stupid questions. Everyone wants to look good, especially in front of other people. We have this innate need to make a good impression on others and have others think highly of us. This need for approval is part of our core programming, our survival mechanism, one that's been passed down for hundreds of years. There is a problem with that though. Our primitive ancestors needed the social approval for survival. It was essential for them to survive, but thankfully, it is not essential for us to survive. It's useful to have the social approval, but we don't actually need it to survive. And even if we did, something as small as asking a question would rarely ever, if ever, have any significant impact on our ability to fit in with others. Unfortunately, that doesn't usually compute when we think about asking a question that seems like a stupid question. Our need for acceptance often goes too far and makes little to no sense, even to the extent where it can actually cause us more harm than good. Hesitating about asking questions is a prime example of this. If you've ever been in a talk, meeting, workshop, or seminar, you will have noticed that most people do not opt for asking questions. Most people will never ask questions. You may have done that yourself. You may have talked yourself out of asking a question, mainly because you did not want to come across as someone who doesn't know. This may seem trivial, but the impact of this adds up. Because based on the situation and the thing you needed clarity on, it can cause a small or a big difference in your life and your work. Asking seemingly stupid questions at the end of the day can do you more harm, more good than bad. It's a good thing. And here are some great reasons why you should ask the questions that you hesitate to ask because you worry that they might be stupid questions. So here are 5 great reasons why you should ask the seemingly stupid questions. Number 1, it is extremely likely that the question is not stupid at all. And this is something that you really need to understand. The question that you think is stupid might actually very likely is not stupid at all. We humans have this extra sensitivity to what is right and what is not, especially when it comes to maintaining a social standing. But this is often more biased and sensitive than it needs to be, especially when you consider the fact that no one can know everything. Right? No one knows everything. So it's okay to not have all the answers, because no one does. So the question that you have, which you think is obvious to others, is very likely not obvious to everyone. So that's the first one. It is extremely likely that the question is not stupid at all. The second good reason is the fact that the asking the question can actually help clarify the thing for you. And this is possibly the most important reason why you should. Having clarity means you can make the most of things, and this also increases the probability of doing your best work, be it in your own personal life or your professional life. On the other hand, lack of clarity can cause confusion, waste your time and resources, and can also cause problems and errors. So if you want to do well and make the most of the information you're getting, you need clarity. And that can prompt you to ask questions that seem like stupid questions. So prioritize clarity. Stop worrying about what is a stupid question and what isn't. If you need the clarity, that's more important than whether it seems like a stupid question or not. So that's the second important reason. The third one is the fact that it can actually help clarify the things for others as well. So in this sense, you're not just helping yourself, you're also helping other people. Most people are scared of asking questions that seem obvious, as no one wants to seem stupid. But this can actually cause mass confusion. So in that sense, by asking a question that seems like a stupid or obvious question, you're actually doing a public service, and maybe even an act of kindness for your friends and the others in your team or society or whatever. So asking the question can actually help others. That's another good reason why you should ask questions like that. The fourth good reason is the fact that it stops you from making mistakes and assume the wrong thing. Making incorrect assumptions, like Amsterdam being the capital of Germany, makes you seem a lot more stupid than asking what the capital of Germany is. Won't you agree? So, if in doubt, ask the question, rather than make an assumption which might actually make you seem more stupid than the question actually is. It's better to know than to assume. So that's the fourth big reason. It can help you from making stupid mistakes. And the fifth one, and this is another really important one to consider, is the fact that what other people think of you is really none of your concern. You can't let what other people might think about you dictate and decide what you do, especially when it comes to doing something as simple and as small as asking a question. So when it comes to doing things that is important or useful or valuable for your own life, you cannot stop yourself based on what other people might think about you. And even in the highly unlikely scenario that you are right and the question really is an obvious one, you should still ask it, especially if it will have a positive impact on your understanding of something. At the end of the day, you should never just assume anything. If in doubt, it is always better to ask, even if you think it might make you seem stupid. Not knowing is much better than knowing the wrong thing, or assuming you know, without actually checking the facts. Like the people who believe that the earth is flat, or how climate change isn't real. Those people clearly do not check all the facts. So it's important to check the facts rather than assuming the wrong thing. So if in doubt, ask, clarify, find out. Truly smart people are those who clarify things to know for a fact what's what, as opposed to people who assume things because they are worried about what others might think of them if they ask a question that seems like a stupid question. True smart isn't about worrying about what other people think about you. Truly smart people ask questions, even the ones that seem like obvious or stupid questions, because often the seemingly stupid and obvious questions can help you get immensely useful insights. And here is the other important thing to remember. What seems obvious to you might not be obvious to others. So a question that seems stupid to you might not be as stupid as you might assume others think, if at all. More often than not, others might actually appreciate you asking the question. Maybe because no one really had the guts to ask it, or maybe because it did not occur to the others. So like I mentioned earlier, you can actually help others by asking the question. The point is, what you think of as a stupid question is often nothing more than your overactive defense mechanism or ego trying to protect you from getting hurt. The reality nearly always is very different. And even if it is not, Even if the question genuinely is as obvious as you think it is still important to ask because you clearly need the clarity. So ask it just for the sake of the fact that you needed the clarity. When in doubt, ask the question. Stop stopping yourself because you're worried about the question being stupid or obvious. It clearly is not, because if it was, you would not feel the need to ask the question in the first place. So just ask the question, as that is the best way you can have the clarity you need. Now, here's a tip for you. If it is hard for you to do that in front of others, there is an easy way. Because you can always ask it afterwards in private. As long as you get the clarity, it's good, because the clarity ultimately is what matters. That said, doing it right then and there is better, since the information can not only help you, it can help others too. And before we go, here is another important thing to remember. The mental shortcuts and automatic behaviors we have built in over time are usually very useful, but not always. So usually, they're very useful, but not every time. Not every automated behavior and mental shortcut we have benefits us, like the fear of public speaking and worrying about asking questions. So when it comes to things where you can benefit from, great, go ahead with them. But if it comes to things where you benefit more from not following the mental shortcut, you need to think twice before just doing what you have always done. So do yourself a favor. Stop letting your fear or ego decide the direction of your life. Ask stupid questions.